Good afternoon, you're listening to Scariff Bay Community Radio and Local Media This Week, the programme where we look at the local print media here in County Clare, the Clare Champion and the Clare Echo, and we let you know what they are talking about. Our programme is sponsored by Ruth Griffin Photography, and we're very grateful to Ruth for her sponsorship of this programme. We haven't, I suppose we haven't a full crew this evening, but by God we have able substitutes. So looking around the table, straight across from me is Tom Henley. Tom, good to see you.
Great to be here, Jim, but I thought, Pat and myself and Luke would, we're not good enough to be on the team at all,
I said not a full team.
Oh, I see, I'm sorry, okay.
I didn't say a reserve
team. Noted that.
And the aforementioned Pat O'Brien is here. Pat, who started it all a few years ago. Many thanks, Pat, and you're welcome.
Thanks, Jim.
And off the bench again is Luke Fleming. Luke, good to see you.
Thanks, Jim.
We're missing David today, but hopefully he'll be back next week. And John S. is taking a bit of a break as well, so we'll wish them well.
Yes.
Now, looking at the papers, and we'll start at the front pages, I suppose, as we always do. And we've discussed it so many times before, but University Hospital Limerick is all over the place. It's on the front page. In fact, there's 2 articles on the front page of the Clare Champion. It's on the front page of the Clare Echo. And it's inside in the Clare Champion as well. It's all of page 6 and 7, I think. The most tragic one is Shannon family are haunted by tragic death, and it has been in the news on the radio and TV during the week as well. David Raleigh has the story there, and solicitor tells inquest pregnant Clare woman wasn't treated properly, and that's Leona Cusack, who was 33, in from Ballycasey in Shannon, and she died in February of 2024. After she was transferred there by ambulance from the maternity hospital in Limerick, as she was at the risk of a heart attack. And it's one of the many stories, unfortunately, that we've become so familiar with. I suppose the difficulty of the overcrowding and the difficulty of getting into UHL and being seen in a timely manner. Tom, you're...
Yeah, I suppose look, it was a tragedy for the Cusack family, but it looks as if she was transferred from as you said, the maternity hospital to UHL, thinking that she was at risk of a heart attack. But while they were concentrating on that, they missed the fact that the poor woman had sepsis.
Yes.
And which killed her,
Yes.
Yeah.
So
which has to be treated very
rapidly. Time is of the essence.
Within an hour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And yet you see the specialist had said in the maternity hospital the woman was running a temperature, her white cell counts, her platelets were kind of very indicative, and if somebody had given her a good broad spectrum antibiotic, there's every chance the poor woman could be alive today. But anyway, that's... You can't point the finger at the poor woman just fell through the cracks, I suppose, really, between the two diagnoses.
And I suppose what we, and her family, and they're obviously still grieving, and
right, yes,
will be,
yes.
well into the future. But the fact, though, Tom, that there are those cracks. I know you can't eliminate cracks completely, but there seem to be a lot of cracks.
Yes, maybe it was, the poor woman was passed from Billy to Jack, possibly, and that's where the gap came, Whereas if she was left in the one place, the consultant in the maternity hospital thought that, right, she was at risk of sepsis, but there were signs of the heart attack coming on as well,
Yes, I know.
And they wouldn't have been able to cope with that, so got removed, but, it's... it's most unfortunate.
God be good to her, Aoife Johnson, as well.
Yes,
who died in kind of similar circumstances.
Yeah.
Probably more unnecessary death in one sense, in that she was just left there in a trolley, I suppose, and just didn't get the proper care and attention that she should have.
And then there was another man who died on a trolley or fell off
the trolley. Yeah, he was found dead.
He was found dead. So it just isn't good enough, though.
No.
There was that woman. She's involved with the Clare Action, Clare Hospital Action Group. McMahon woman back in, and her husband died as well on a trolley.
Yes. Yeah.
So she's very much involved in trying to get improved hospital facilities over the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, and it's just not good enough that someone can be loaded onto a trolley, and the risk of something happening is all the greater, and maybe
Yeah.
they're not being monitored as well as they could be.
Yeah. A lot of staff, medical staff, are severely overworked.
That's really overworked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably into these situations.
I
more
was
often
in
than
there.
some
I was in
others
there about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
One day, and we were there at 4:00 in the evening, and we were going through, and there was this nurse there, and she was looking after my wife, and she said she didn't have a break since 8:00 in the morning, and this was her 4:30 in the evening.
are. Sure, no human being could stand
She
that.
was trying to get somebody to
Give her a break.
give her a break. And she was in charge
Yes.
of
Yeah.
a section of the
Sure,
nurses.
yeah.
But she was doing, she said she was building them all day and the previous day.
Yeah.
You know.
And
So
I
they work very hard in that area.
And I know various people around this table have said that when you get into
Oh yeah,
UHL,
it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the treatment and the care and everything is superb.
Yeah, and I think we've said it 100 times before, Jim, here at Barry's over the years, that only for all the foreign staff that's there, we'd be in serious trouble.
And I know they opened a new 90-bed wing,
Yeah.
the other day, but yeah, I'm just wondering, because it's covered on page 6 and 7 there, and in the Clare Champion.
Yes.
And there's a number of headlines there. I mean, the first one I see is Minister not a fan of Model 4 ideas, another Model 4 hospital, and it sounds like a flippant remark that, you know, you can't have a Model 4 hospital within 10 minutes of everyone.
Yeah, I have to say,
I mean, that is a stupid, flippant remark, without a doubt.
Yeah, I have to
Yes,
say that actually
yes,
to the
yes.
morning, and
Yeah.
she was recorded, one of the Clare FM presenters, one of the journalists asked her that question about what about a man in Loophead? He's more than an hour and a half from the hospital.
Yes.
Well, she says we can't have a Model 4 hospital for every 10 minutes or whatever.
Within 10 minutes of everyone.
Everyone,
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, no one is looking for that either.
No, indeed. Yeah.
But there, you know, people in the Midwest, that was Dan Danaher now who has that, a minister not a fan of Model 4 ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
They seem to be determined not to find a solution. People in the Midwest are tired of being told to wait, and I suppose we've been waiting since 2009.
That's right. Actually, if you see, and don't always read the editorial in the Champion, they refer to. It's quite good today, and I'm not sure what page that is on now, but it's. We might refer to it later. Keep talking there, I might find it.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
But you have the situation where, we'll say one of the articles Dan has there on page 6 is, a television clip of Midwest deputies trying to get as close as possible to the health minister during a press conference has been condemned as sickening. I'd agree with that 100%. Conor Reedy from the Midwest Hospital campaign said the images of deputies trying to get filmed on TV near the minister rattled a lot of people in the lobby. And we've said this all along, that the only way anything is properly going to get done is for the TDs in Tip, Clare and Limerick to get together.
And that's what Joe Cooney had in mind.
And, I'd say Joe's thoughts, we all know Joe, and I don't think he was trying to do what he did for the wrong reasons, but they turned it into a sort of a political debate, when the problem is that the politicians themselves haven't had the courage to sort of try and stand up for us, the constituents, because they've let us down. And the problem we have as people voting is we have voted for them.
That's right.
We'd be better off if we had 4 independents.
We probably would be, because they'd be roaring and shouting, looking
and they'd
for
have leverage with the government.
Like, you haven't had a senior minister in probably Clare, Limerick or Tip since Michael Noonan, I would think.
He was Minister for Health. He would have been responsible for a lot of the early building in
Well, he was
University
Minister
Hospital
for
Limerick,
Finance, so we say, around it
and
and
Minister
stuff
for
like
Health
that.
at some
But like,
stage,
this all goes back to the decision that was made in 2009.
It was, yeah.
You know, that's what it boils down to. And I know Pádraig has it in the Echo. I think it's at page 6, where they might come up with a decision before Christmas. And I would just ask slightly cynically, you said, which Christmas? But he said, responding to questions from the Clare Echo during a visit to the hospital on Monday, the Minister for Health, Jennifer Carroll McNeil, stated a decision would be made before Christmas on which option from HICWA's review of emergency care in the Midwest. This is a review that sort of is about 8 months late, took a year and a half to do, and was due last summer, came out, and basically it was leaked before it came out. And what did our local politicians do? They sort of half shrugged their shoulders and said, "Oh, sure, what can we do?" I wouldn't be happy with any of the politicians and the reaction that they've had. Not just within the last few months, over the last 5-10 years in particular.
Exactly. Now, going back to the editorials, on page 10 of the Clare Champion, it says, "Public punished for others' mistakes." You know, and it's the people, the public in the Midwest region are being punished because of decisions that were made in the past to close Ennis and close those, you know, and nothing has been done to correct that.
Yes. Yeah, and they seem determined not to do it.
Yeah, just drag the reels on it. Yeah.
It's a very, and it's not like a scenario where we're looking for grants or we're looking for this or that or the other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people's lives.
It's the great line, Jim, that Pat would talk about. The CBA, the cost-benefit analysis. You're not talking about providing a level 4 hospital to 10,000 people. There's 127,000 people in Clare. I presume you've significantly more in Limerick, you've significantly more in Tip.
Yeah.
You know, it's about giving proper medical facilities
but
for those
cost-benefit
people.
analysis would suggest that if a few people die, that's acceptable. You know, because it's a...
Well, there was a time when it used to be the will of God, but, you know.
Yes,
yeah.
But I mean, if it was like a wastewater treatment plant or something, there's cost benefit.
That's right.
Cost benefit analysis in this case, or neglect of what to do, cost lives.
We're a first world country in many ways, but not always with the care of our sick.
No, and it seems worse in the Midwest, though, Tom, than in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
Well, it is. So 2 weeks ago, you had 147 people on trolleys in Limerick, and that was more than the total of the Dublin area, which is at 8 A&Es.
Yes. Yeah.
And more than the total of even the east of Ireland, also even the hospitals at A&Es outside of Dublin.
Yeah.
So that proves that, you know, I said that I got a call onto the morning there and Sarah Chronicle, and I said it to him as well. But of course he'll agree with everything you say as well. They'll all agree with you.
I know, yeah. but what Luke said there about that, they seem to all lack the courage to come out and say, this is what should be done, and it's high time it was done.
Actually, just reading that earlier today, I was just reminded, I think, how many of our TDs resigned or lost the whip in the Dáil over the Shannon Airport issue at the time? I know Sheila De Valera did for a while.
And Tony Killeen.
They stood up.
They stood up, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
So, like, they
For
need
their
to
own
do
people.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we will get back to that again because it's Pádraig has a piece on page 1 there when he talks about Christmas and he's looking for a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
And maybe it will be, but
Which Christmas?
yes, and that's the other question.
Jim, can I just bring up a small little thing there, and going back to the front of the Champion there, it says, handbags at dawn as fight erupts over hospital meeting. Now, that article is continuing to page 6, but when you go to page 6, you really have to, there's a disconnect in it. It's linked to the article, people in Midwest are tired of being told to wait, you know. And
Yes.
you'd imagine that if you've been go to page 6 to read more about it, you'd have to, which article is this?
Yeah,
That's probably an editorial.
it's probably
Issue,
an editorial thing. There
Not
should be
Dan
some
Donners,
link
There
between
should be obvious. You go to page 6, right? This is connected to.
But
page
it's
1.
also a kind of a political row about, you know, a sideshow.
Yeah.
In relation to the hospital.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
government TDs and senators attended it. Opposition didn't. And I mean, if they were all serious about it, they'd all go and they'd all stand up for it.
Now, it appears that the opposition were invited, but they didn't attend.
They didn't attend. Yeah, that's right. It's a political football.
Sinn Féin called it a publicity stunt for government backbenchers rather than a forum for decisions that would actually save lives.
Well,
that's
they're probably right in that too. At your point.
yeah, but it's
Because
more publicity.
But if
stuff,
all
you know.
the TDs went, particularly the government TDs,
Yeah.
and they decided we are not going to support the government until there's some
Yes.
move forward
Yeah.
here, or our support is conditional on
Yeah,
Yeah,
what should happen.
what should happen?
And
yeah.
that's the courage that Luke was talking about.
yes.
Anyway, we'll go on from that because we'd be
We spend the hour at it.
we could indeed, yes.
John Morton came out there the first day. This wasn't the ink wasn't dry in the report when John Morton came out offering a site inside Limerick for a new Model 4 hospital. And we here in Clare, there was no word about offering a site. Clare County Council should have been doing work as well and should have been prepared to come out and say, look, we have a site available here somewhere off the motorway in Innis if we need for a new hospital.
For a new hospital, yes. Okay, on staying with the Clare Champion on page 1, Owen Ryan has a story there. Court hears Shannon is enabling genocide. And I suppose this was a bit strange because he's talking about planes landing in Shannon which are going on to the Middle East and stopping in Shannon on the way back as well, presumably for refuelling. They don't actually know what's on the planes, whether there's armaments or, well, there aren't troops because they're not sending troops to the Middle East. But this debate has gone on for quite a while in relation to planes overflying Ireland or landing in Shannon, and I suppose it attracts. People go down there and they protest and they go over the line and they get arrested, and then there's a group of people there on John Kelly's picture on page 1, and it's obviously outside the courthouse in Ennis, where some of their colleagues are appearing in court.
Well, I suppose some of these people are probably keeping it alive. That's what's happening, and they're probably, I don't know, they're very they're having this protest on a regular basis down in Shannon.
Yes.
Edward Horgan there, he was a former army officer. He's probably one of the head men in it, and he's been a veteran protester. And his group led one of the protests in Shannon on Sunday. So I suppose I don't know. That should have obviously there's some ammunition and arms going through Shannon.
Yeah.
Well, you're only assuming that now, Pat, you know?
No.
Because they're not supposed to carry arms through the planes, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose
international agreements dictate that.
I know under previous American regimes, I would have certain sympathy for this, and I would say America, is an ally of ours, is a friend of ours, and we take them on trust if they say there isn't anything going through Shannon.
Yes.
Now, since Mr. Trump became president, I mean, personally, I just, you get a lot more cynical, and think maybe this guy isn't trustworthy.
Well, the whole scene has changed, hasn't it? Yeah,
it has.
Yeah, it has. Truth has gone out the window, or out the door. Yeah,
it is really. But anyway, look, that's there on the front page of the Clare Champion. Another story that's on page 2 of the Clare Champion, and it's on page 6 of the Clare Echo, and that is the wait for the new Banner Plaza near Dura has gone into November. So I understood that Pat McDonough intended opening that facility in October.
Yes. Yeah.
But I suppose without connection to water and to wastewater, he probably can't do that.
Well, the one thing apparently that this case is doing, it has stopped the Clare County Council from making the connection. Work has stopped on that.
Yes.
Well, it's Scariff.
Are you scared, I should say, rather? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the court case has been taken against Scariff.
Yeah.
Now, I see Pat McDonough was interviewed there and talks about everything that has gone through every aspect of planning and court, and has passed with flying colours.
Judicial review, yeah, exactly.
Well, now, Jim, it's hard to say. I'd agree with you, passed with flying colours, but why does it take 10 years for it to get to the stage that it passes with flying colours?
Yes.
And then it's a bit like, oh, no, well, no, actually it doesn't. This, again, no more than you could say I suppose you'd say all political parties have not got together in relation to the hospital. This is the cause of our politicians failing to legislate. That is their primary job.
That's
It's not
definitely.
about getting passports for people. It's about proper legislation. And you see, Joe has called on the Minister for Justice, Home Affairs and Migration to undertake a comprehensive review of the judicial review system. This is a bit the nonsense with consultants consulting about consulting.
Yeah.
People need to make decisions. We elect our TDs to go to the Dáil to make laws. And this is a prime example of, you sort of say, why can we get nothing done in this country?
This is, as you said, a prime
You know,
example.
I said you've a housing crisis in general.
That, yeah, I'm just thinking about where should there not be somewhere in legislation a time element that something is presented for planning with, did this go to Clare County Council first?
Yeah, was it the council first?
And then Board
Pleanála.
Pleanála.
Yeah, and back again, because it got refused the first time,
Yes.
and went back again. But, Jim, you have to bear in mind that, we'll say, Commission Pleanála, aka Board Pleanála, is a government organisation. They have a timeline set that they have to make a decision.
Yes.
But there's a little sort of a sub-clause there that, if they deem that this isn't enough time, that they can sort of kick the can down the road. I've experienced it myself many moons ago in relation to a planning application. It's in legislation that they have to give you a decision within such a time. It's a bit like we say a planning application with the council. You have to have a result in 8 weeks.
Yes.
Which invariably turns out is that the council will get back to you before the 8 weeks are up and
Look for more information.
might look
Stop
for
the clock.
more information.
Yeah.
Well, that sort of it
Restarts the clock,
restarts the
okay.
clock.
Yeah.
But there should only be a certain period of time that should be allowed to go on. But I said, this is would say it's our fault. And because this didn't just start yesterday. This is
I
ongoing
would
for
say
years.
the same with court proceedings and judicial reviews, that there should be a limit to the time, let's say, following the on Board Pleanála.
There should be no, if it goes to Board Pleanála, they should have the proper expertise and everything else to sort of decide, right lads, that's it. One way or the other, we give it or we don't, end the story. If they give it, it's built. If they don't, it's not built.
This has been through a judicial review as well, and one would expect that a judicial review should be the final say on the
Yeah,
matter.
but you're going to have a judicial review of the judicial review.
Unprecedented.
I presume the
but it
judicial
could happen.
review will centre on whether the County Council or Board Pleanála did their job properly.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Well, it's basically saying that Ishka Éireann didn't do their job properly.
Yeah.
Because by allowing a connection for something that they say that the wastewater treatment plant is full.
Yeah.
But could somebody else come along when this goes through and finishes through? Can someone else come along and say, we don't have electricity enough for this to happen,
Right.
and launch another court appeal?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, it makes a nonsense of our planning.
I rest my case, Jim. I better not say any more.
All these. If you read the story there in the papers today, the people that's putting in this objection, they didn't want to cost them anything, so there's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So there should be a fee. There should, as you said before, Jim, there should be a fee there for when you put in an objection. There should be a fee there, and okay, you will lose the case, you lose the money,
Yeah. Well, the
and
developer,
a substantial fee.
yeah, the developer loses money every time this is delayed.
It does, yeah.
So, so, why not a person who wants to stop it?
Yeah, they should be prepared to put up money as well, because all these serial objectors, it's the same names crop up all the time, and they all, in all these objections.
Yes. Okay, we'll go on. Roisin Garvey, somebody that we've interviewed a number of times on this station. Roisin has stepped down from not just from her position as deputy leader of the Green Party, but also has left the Green Party.
Yes.
Now somebody else did as well, and I'm just wondering. There was
Brian Ledden in Limerick.
And there was speculation that was that connected to.
Support for Catherine Connolly.
Yes. So whether Roisin's it's just coincidental.
Well, technically, she's not a politician anymore because she's not a senator. So I'd imagine that is probably.
But she was deputy leader of the party.
But I think
left of the party.
Yeah, but I think. I said the Greens sometimes do things a little bit differently than the rest of the parties, but to sort of be that high up in the party, you actually need to be
committed.
Well, no, it's not committed. You need to be a member either of the Shannon or the Dáil.
Yes. Yeah. Did somebody say, was she taking a job at an institution in Limerick? Is that official?
There was some mention, according to a spokesman. Pádraig has it there on page 8.
Yeah.
It says, Roisin has left her role for a new post she has taken up. This is understood to be in the University of Limerick. So, now, there's no denying, she was a bit of a trailblazer, you could say, for the Greens. She was the first female councillor elected in North Clare and the first Green elected outside of Ennis, and in the 2020 election she did quite well.
She did, yes.
She didn't do as well last time around, but again, I think that was, the tide was sort of with the Greens in 2020 and it was flowing against them last time around.
Yeah, and she's certainly a formidable politician.
She was, yeah.
And quite forthright in her views, and agree with her or not, but I mean the place, was more alive with her in it.
Absolutely, yes.
Anyway, we wish her well.
Exactly.
Whatever she goes on to do, whether she renews her interest in politics down the road or not. She comes from a political family, so maybe she will. Okay, I'm looking at page 5 on the Clare Champion. An opportunity in 2028 for Clare tourism, and for Limerick as well, and that's Euro Pride, and that is a festival which will come to Limerick and Clare in 2028. It's the world's biggest LGBT, I don't know where, the Q isn't here, but maybe it's that as well, ever hosted in this county. And we're talking about, we could see 100,000 foreign tourists flocking to the region, and they say between 35 and 40 million for the economy. And that's not to be sneezed at.
Not to be sneezed at, no, indeed. Yeah.
I hope we've somewhere to put them.
Yes, at the moment.
The golf will be over by the time that comes, is it?
Yeah. But it is.
And the Ryder Cup will be over as well. Oh, that's the golf, not the hinge.
Well, and the way we are at the moment, East Clare isn't flourishing with accommodation.
Not hotel accommodation, anyway.
No.
Yeah.
But hopefully people will come, and a lot of people will come and spend their money in Clare and Limerick and enjoy the place while they're here.
Yeah.
And but that's Eddie McGuinness, a picture of him there. He's the Outing Festival, which is a local group, but he's pictured there in the Clare Pride Parade, which took place in Ennis in September.
Yeah, sure. I suppose any festival that's going to bring people into the country and into the area is good, and should be looked forward to. And
I see the on page 7 of the Clare Echo, they have a story there which we had last week, and that is the Clare FM success, which they had a couple of weeks ago in in Kilkenny.
Imro, yeah, Station of the Year.
They got Station of the Year, the Gold Award, and I know we congratulated them last week, and rightly so. But they're there again, and on the Clare Echo, Pádraig has the story there.
Yeah, I suppose Pádraig, I suppose, always has a different angle on things as well, and as well as mentioning, we'll say, the success of Clare FM, he also, refers to Kieran Hanrahan, we'll say, ex of Stockton's Wing, got a silver award, a Specialist Music Broadcaster of the Year, I said co-founder of Stockton's Wing, and he finished up in Cayley House. I think he did it for 30 years on RTE in August. Ennis native Brian O'Connell took silver in the short feature category. He's a reporter for RTE1, and of course with all the changes happening on RTE Radio 1, it's good to see that Shannon's Rachel English will be staying put. So I said she is
John Cook, of course, another
yeah,
man.
exactly, yeah.
That's Brian O'Connell, who was editor of the Clare Champion.
Yep.
Yes, and who we have featured on this station a number of times.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's Peter O'Connell. No, this.
Oh, that was
Peter. Yeah.
So Brian O'Connell is based down in Cork. He's an RT1. But he's from Ennis, but he's a very good, very good now. I often hear him.
And we'll say, as you said, Drive Time got an award there as well. So, and we'll say John Cook could be associated with that. I think most recently presenting Wine Line there for a few weeks. I think.
He's
he's still
doing Joe Duffy show.
Live line.
Yeah.
Oh, slip of the tongue there. Sorry.
Anyway, John Cook is delighted to see so many Clare people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doreen Gahey won an award as well. From Dolan, 2FM drive show.
Yes.
Yeah. So
great to see Clare people doing
exactly. Well. Yeah. Well done to all from the banner.
On page 8 of the Clare Champion, and I'm just checking the time in relation to how we are. We have a minute left. It might be no harm for people to read it. It's on the bottom of page 8. Thousands of Clare homes due free energy upgrade, and it talks about 3,000 homes in Clare are entitled to a fully funded energy upgrade on their home. Now, it doesn't go through who's eligible or who isn't eligible or what the criteria are, but it does say where to look.
Yeah.
And it isn't often we get fully funded energy upgrades available.
I had a quick read through that earlier, and just towards the end of the article, it's older homes constructed before 1993 with low energy ratings, that's E, F or G, are being prioritised for these works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that narrows it down a bit.
So,
And that's probably a lot of
fair
houses.
enough, I suppose. Yeah, it is. I suppose it is some of the older ones anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, you can go to the SEAI website, I think, and there's the half-time whistle, the hooter. So we keep going until the ball goes out of play.
Yeah. The rules allow us to do that.
It does, yes.
The hooter has got more aggressive because you were ignoring it.
Okay, so we'll take our break for half-time. Pat, have you something maybe seasonal or topical or whatever to...
Well, look, a couple of fellas celebrating birthdays. We have Cliff Richard. He was 85 on Tuesday, October 14. And we'll have the young ones from 1961.
Okay, God, he was a young guy then.
Yes.
Yeah, Cliff Richard, the young ones. Thanks, Pat. You're very welcome back. You're listening to Scariff Bay Community Radio and Local Media This Week, sponsored by Ruth Griffin Photography. And there at half-time, Pat's pick was Cliff Richard and the Young Ones. It's a long time since I was in Flannan's, I'd say, as a student, when I saw the Young Ones in the auditorium on Sunday night.
Yeah, I was going to say we were young once.
Yes,
Rather than young ones.
we were young back then, Tom.
Yeah, we were young ones and young ones. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we're still young at heart.
Yeah, that's
for sure. Okay, I suppose we look at East Clare on the second half of the programme. And I suppose one of the things that, came out this week and news that broke is that the pedestrianisation of the bridge at Killaloe is to become permanent. And that'll be a shock to some people, because I think there were various things being mentioned and various suggestions.
Yeah.
And no, I suppose nothing is forever, but there are mixed views, I would say, in Killaloe.
Well, they did look for representations or people. There was an email address that you could give your views on it, but apparently 2/3 of the people that responded to it were in favour of permanent pedestrianisation of the bridge.
Yes.
I thought it'd be more 50-50.
Yeah.
When if you're going through Killaloe and Ballina and you see this, that maybe it was the businesses that organised it, they keep connecting communities, keep connecting the two communities. There, I thought this was going to be shoe-in that to be opened again after this trial period, but
Yes.
apparently the general public in that area, wanted to keep it pedestrianised.
I think you could be kind and say that I think businesses wanted it open,
Yeah.
and that the general populace didn't want it open.
It's possible. It's probable. Yeah.
I would think that's
Yeah.
generally where it goes about. In fairness, Dan has a lot of stats there on his article on page 4 of the Champion, and it said the process where people could write in relation to it was a Section 38 process, that there were 537 written submissions made according to figures that Dan has, with 348 in favour and 189 against, so it was basically a 2-1.
Yes.
So, he sort of, okay, if you start to talk about democracy in action, you were given 2 or 3 months to write in relation to it. I suppose one of the things that was mentioned, was that I think when the funding was initially given for the bridge, that it was a condition for the new bridge and bypass, that one of the conditions of it was that the bridge would be closed.
That was in the small print, but a lot of people
ignored
ignored it or didn't read it.
I think didn't read it. I'd say is more likely. But the skeptic in me sort of would say that I'm not particularly surprised by this myself, but time will tell.
I suppose the Killaloe and Ballina town team have €1 million been allocated to them as well there recently. So that'll probably help out in the tourism aspect of the town, and maybe.
Well, now, Pat, I'll refer you to literally within 500 yards of where we're currently broadcasting from, and I don't think €1 million in today's weather is going to go very far. It'll probably be plan about consultancy, about consultancy. I don't think you're going to get much of a return from €1 million.
But that'll probably be drawn up, whatever plans they have, and they'll probably have drawings and consultants and engineers.
But sure, they already have them.
Yeah.
They already have them, and the plan is the plan is to sort of pedestrianise. I think the area, I would say the road over by the cathedral seems to be on their agenda to pedestrianise that as well. But they seem to think that all these businesses are going to be able to, thrive and develop.
Yeah.
And I said the issues for businesses to be able to thrive and develop, there are 2 things you sort of need. A, you need to be able to get to there, or
Access.
close enough to there, and B, you need to be able to park.
Yes.
And both of which I think are fairly lacking at the moment.
I see the development in Innis there of the new development in Innis of the paving of the streets. There was some survey done recently, and business is down 50% since they started.
Yeah.
And then Trumpy finished for a long time yet.
Yes.
I was in Innis yesterday, and there's a lot of it still. A lot of the areas are still closed off.
Construction site.
Yeah.
And I suppose part of the reason the business is down is probably the construction that's going on.
Oh, it is, yeah, the big part of it, yeah. Mm.
Of course, what some of them might be afraid of as well is that when the new plaza opens down the road, that people will,
Yeah.
I know that you can't do general shopping there, but you can go and relax there.
Yeah.
I can't see that making much of a difference, Jim, because the vast majority of traffic that's going to be stopping in there,
Yes.
I would imagine
Through traffic, yeah.
they would never be going near Ennis in
That
the
is
first
true.
place.
Wouldn't know, no,
Absolutely,
no.
absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
because I said after Bird Hill, the Apple Green and Bird Hill, if you want to go to Galway, you've nowhere to pull in off the motorway.
No.
But I wonder, do people sometimes, go for a Sunday drive or go here or go there and go to one of these places? I know sometimes we go down to Apple Green. On a Sunday.
Yeah, but you're not going to drive into O'Connell Street in Limerick or O'Connell Street in Ennis.
No, you're not. No, but you go to somewhere that's out the country.
Yeah.
And it's parking, as you said, is the key.
I would give you the same argument in relation to the Crescent Shopping Centre in Durdale. What's
Yeah,
the biggest
same
attraction there?
argument, yeah.
Free parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Limerick there last week, and I got up, and I went up through William Street, and all up along it was very quiet. Maybe it was about Thursday, I'd say, last Thursday.
Yeah.
It was terribly quiet. And I was saying to my wife when I came home, she says, all the people are going to do shopping centre. I bet you the word is full.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, Pat, there's another thing, and we're talking about Limerick. At night, once people have left their jobs and gone home, those places
very quiet, yeah.
are very, very quiet.
Yeah, and
there's no real life. There's nobody really living in city centres.
Yeah,
We've
and-
had that discussion before as well.
And when you're going out, Tom,
Yeah.
you can't park somewhere because you have to either get public transport, because if you want to go to a restaurant, you can't park near it because they have no park. They have a stop for parking.
Yeah.
No, there are young people, and I know from the Middles area now, where the younger people they take the bus in and they have a meal and they have a few drinks and they get the bus back out again. Like,
Yes. Yeah, and of course the bus service now in East Clare is
Is,
really
yeah, it is
improved.
improved anyway.
Is
Yeah.
that a regular bus service or is
Well,
the
it's
the new smaller ones?
It's the smart bus, like the local transport ones.
Yes.
Anyway, okay. Another staying on page 4 in the Clare Champion, a rather alarming thing is fraudsters at large in East Clare. And these would seem to be bogus tradespeople who come and they inveigle themselves into your, house or grounds or whatever with, I suppose, the charging you a lot less maybe than you pay for recognised tradespeople.
It's worth reading the opening paragraph of that. It says, Scariff Gardaí are investigating a deception in which a fraudster used a family member's name to gain trust from the injured party.
Yes.
So they picked up, let's say, going to Jim Collins, that that you had your son's name or your brother's name or something like
or
that.
Or Tom Handy sent to me.
That's. Oh well, I suppose with the schemes, they're schemers. Some of these fraudsters are masters at their art.
Yeah, but these people should just be clear. Like, if someone comes into you and say, "Look, good luck, I have no interest in what you want. If I need you, I'll send for you."
I look for you. You don't come call me. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's really what.
And look for their card and look for their tax number and all that kind of
But
stuff.
these people can be charming.
They'll go
They're
very
going to
fast.
inveigle their way into the. Yeah.
But I suppose that is the thing to say. If I want my tarmac done, I'll get someone to do it.
Yes.
Rather than accepting someone who arrives at the gate.
Your shoes cleaned or painted and the roof paint or whatever.
There's a fine article there on page 8 in the Clare Champion as well. And we'll just stick with the Clare Champion for the moment. And it's an interview with Olive Foley and talking about the Tumgraney, mother of two, has relived the devastation of hearing how her husband, Munster rugby legend Anthony Foley, had died in Paris 9 years ago. And I suppose we all remember, you remember where you were when you heard it.
Yes. Yes.
It's a two-part feature, Dan with Olive Foley, about the death of Anthony. And it's very good. I didn't actually read it all, Jim, but I read a good bit of it, and it's a very interesting article, really.
Yes.
And people should maybe pick up that Champion and read it, because it is very interesting. And the second part of it is on next week.
He's 9 years dead, actually.
Yeah,
in
it's
October. Yeah.
Today, the day we're recording is his anniversary.
Really? Yes. Yeah. But there's great credit due to Olive Foley. She's been a very strong woman. She's coped with it all. But it's actually interesting towards the end of that article, Anthony was under, okay, he had, I suppose you call it a premium job, a dream job in many ways, you know, in Munster, but the pressure was something else.
Pressure was
to
huge.
get results, you know, and that's probably didn't help the poor man.
No,
you know?
no.
Yeah.
I remember we were actually live on air that day. I think it was a
It
Sunday.
was a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were live on air at a match. And I think at that time we used to do, well, from time to time anyway, matches on the phone.
That's right, yes.
And I remember Leo was wherever he was, and I remember it came through, and we discussed it at half time, and we didn't want to say anything until we were kind of certain that it was true.
Yes.
But I think we got confirmation on RT that Anthony had died.
Yeah.
But,
Only 42 years of age, if my memory serves me
That's
right.
right,
Far,
yeah.
far too young to die.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, but it's probably one of those things now, I suppose, you know, those heart things
Yes,
that's happening
yes,
with people.
yes.
Now, Olive, of course, is a remarkable
She
individual
is,
in
she
herself.
Is, she is.
You know, other than being Anthony's wife, and as she has shown over the years, herself and her lads have been inspirational.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, we think of Anthony, and as Pat said, we commend our listeners to read the article on page 8 and look forward to the second part next week.
Next week, yeah.
Now, looking at the Clare page, it's called Clare and East Clare and South Clare, but it's on page 13. But a piece there on Tungrani man Michael Blake, another Tungrani man. Michael is coming to the end of his 8-year term as chef de keep, and I suppose there probably has a couple of other titles.
Head bottle washer, I'd say.
Yes,
High performance manager.
high performance
Yes,
manager. That's what I was looking for, Tom.
Well, I think he excelled in all that over the 8 years, because Irish show jumping was a very high profile, and he won some marvellous events around the world, not around even in Europe, but around the world.
Yeah,
And even in the final competition of the year, they tied with England, and England won it on a whisker in the jump off.
0.23 of a second.
Yeah.
yeah. But over the years, he has really, like, for some of us, we saw the Dublin Horse Show, and that was the extent of our knowledge of
Yes.
jumping.
Show
jumping.
can.
But I mean, Michael has really brought right around the world
Yes,
has brought Irish show jumping right to the top.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you know? And he's been here several times over the years, and talking about like what it takes, finding the right show jumpers,
Yes.
finding the right riders, and they're not always you have to match them then.
You have, and it's one thing managing people, but you know, if a horse decides to say no, I'm not jumping that, you know, what do you do with it?
I know. Yeah.
You lose time if there's nothing else, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he says here, days I'll never forget, like the Aggie can win European Championship silver and Nations Cup wins at shows such as Rome, Aachen, La Boule, O'Connor, is it O'Connor, Eddie Derby, Spruce Meadows, as well as European gold in Gothenburg. So his achievements have been very good over the years.
Yes, and I suppose, Luke, we'll always remember the homecoming in Tungrani, where the Aga Khan trophy was proudly on Nuala's table.
Yeah, and out in the Memorial Park. Yeah, I think the first time that cup had left Dublin quite an awful long time.
Yes. So
a fairly good solid lump of gold, wasn't it?
It was.
It was a big lump. But
it does.
Anyway, we wish Michael the best.
Thank you for all he's done, and wish him all the best wherever he goes at now.
And I'm sure it won't be 100 miles away from horses.
Oh, there'll have to be a horse someplace.
Somewhere in there,
So we wish him well and thank him, as Tom says. Okay, this week, although it's over at this stage now, it's Sunday evening, but laughter to reverberate around the Shivatis.
Yeah, well, as we speak, I suppose there's a 3 o'clock matinee in McNamara's and another show again tonight at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I suppose just we say since the article was written, I suppose we say events changed a little bit with a recent passing away meant that the Friday night appearance, I think, wasn't going ahead, but they decided to do 2 on the Sunday.
That's it.
Thomas and
That's it.
Laddie,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
So again, I suppose different venue. We'll say for them, because it would have been in Ryan's pub for many
That's
years,
right,
but
yes, yeah.
it's in Max now, we'll say, and we sort of wish them the very best.
It's always a great, nice entertainment, and of course, Siobhan Donnan has written a play in it, and yeah, past pupil of yours, I presume, Jim?
she is indeed,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So and they'd be short shows as well, 40-50 minutes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be so? There's a great picture above that article, and it, the one thing that's missing from it is the great bench that we were debating last week. I'd say there's some of the ladies there are probably
They might be sitting on
they
it.
might
No.
be are sitting. Or
My guess is
standing
that
on it,
Charlie McGeever, who took that photograph, was standing on that bench.
just well, it would be very high, I'd say, if he was Tom. But
Yeah.
last Sunday the National Swim in Pink fundraiser took place, and a large crowd there of ladies and a few men there
Brave
as
gents,
well,
yeah.
as well. And would say if you want to donate to that, you can go to swiminpink.ie. It's a lovely photograph.
Lovely
Fine photograph, yeah. Mm.
It is great excitement and
Great cause.
great fun too.
Yeah.
On the top of the same page 13, this is a strange story. Tidy Towns Group without a town. Pat, you were commenting on this earlier.
Yeah, just before we go into that, the details, Jim, there's a lovely photograph there with Councillor James Ryan, his dad Ralph Ryan, and Tenancy League and all the Shannon Banks who are part of the Shannon Banks Westbury Carrying Me Tidy Towns Group, who have been working on reclaiming pathways and removing ivy off Arklonkard Bridge to improve their area. And there's a beautiful photograph with the bridge and all behind, and the river and the boats.
Who else took it? Only John Kelly.
John Kelly, yeah. But I suppose the real story in it is, and there's a half a page really of it, the real story is concern has been expressed that the new Tidy Towns Group in South East Clare can't apply for 3,000 Pobble grant because it isn't officially a participant in the annual national competition. The group has been told by a government department it can't register to participate in the National Tidy Towns competition because it doesn't represent an official town, village or standalone area. In July 2024, the group of people from Shannon Banks, Westbury, Carrickmee came together to establish a new Tidy Towns committee. However, when this group sought for information about the registration process, the Department of Rural and Community Development and Gaeltacht pointed out that the competition wasn't open to housing estates or residential associations. As a Tidy Towns committee are great networkers, the group was also advised it should contact its local or nearest Tidy Towns committee regarding starting a Tidy Towns group, and they must be able to give some valuable information and tips. But you're like, if we look at those 3 estates there, that Shannon Banks, Westbury, Carrickmee, that's as big as most towns in County Clare.
Exactly. Technically, population-wise, it would be the 3rd biggest town in Clare after Ennis and Shannon.
Yeah.
There's huge population there, but you see,
Right.
it's the disadvantage of being that close to the border for Limerick. And even though the council will say have an office there, like they are literally just housing estates. You'd have Shannon Banks would have been the original housing estate that was there traditionally, just we say right on the border with Limerick, and then Westbury got built, I'd say, in cohorts with the Celtic Tiger.
But you still have shops and the main road and a petrol station and all that on the main
you have
road.
an Apple Green, you have an Aldi, and you have lots of stuff there now.
And you have a load of shops inside, and that's the state there beside Aldi.
Yeah.
And a pub and restaurants and
it's the Westbury Centre, but there is no technical village there.
yeah, but
I
know that.
There just isn't. But I can understand in a way why the technocrats in the Tidy Town say, well, it's not actually a village or a town. I can understand that, but you'd maybe like to think that maybe a bit of common sense could be put in and say that it could be classed as Westbury or something, the Westbury Shannon Banks area.
Or maybe there's room for another competition, a tidy district
Yes.
competition,
Maybe, yeah.
rather than
But we say if a group of people come together and they want to make a place better, they wouldn't want to put the money into their own pocket anyway. They were
I
going
just
to.
wonder, is there going to in the tidy towns? Or would they come under the same thing?
probably wouldn't be
Well, you
classed as a town.
we see the whole thing with tidy towns, Jim, is not every place enters it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
We don't enter it anymore in our Canada's
yeah,
meetings.
yeah, and I think
we have
I
fellows
think-
working there.
I think for a few years, I think Mount Shannon hadn't entered neither. You know, Mount Shannon's the previous winner of the overall competition.
There's a big about that size of a book of paperwork to do before you.
That puts people off now, there's no
Yeah.
doubt.
Loads of paperwork
You see, I think what a lot
and
of
photographs and all that. I see a book of Venus, and if you see the size of it and all the photographs and what they had taken and the whole, it was all about the presentation of the book.
Yes. Okay, we've a minute left. The bicentenary celebrations of Scariff Church is covered in both papers. It's on page 20 in the Clare Champion, and it's on page 15 with a photograph in the Clare Echo. And it's a huge event, I suppose, in one way. Very important event that it's 200 years since the church was built in Foss Bay. Rebuilt really built in 1825, rebuilt in 1875, and with the tower added in 1890. So it's that traces its progress and has witnessed many happenings, including the 4 Scariff martyrs, and they're buried there, and the whole thing around their funeral. So it's of interest anyway. And I know there was mass today at 1:00, and the bishop was out. So that's 200 years of, and lots of churches are celebrating their bicentenary around this time and in the years ahead.
about 600 more to catch up with Killaloe.
Yes, that is true.
And
That little church beside you in Tuamgraney.
yeah, but another 800 to catch up with Crowded. So yeah, but
Anyway, we're on the way there.
exactly. Yeah, and a nice event to market as well. So,
yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Is our time up?
our
Pat?
time is up. Listen,
Okay.
thank you so much to everybody. To Tom, thanks for your contribution.
Pleasure as always, Jim.
And to Pat,
Thanks, Jim.
and to Super Sub Luke.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you very much. Pat, will you choose something to play us out?
Well, Paddy Riley says we often played it in the tavern in Scariff back the years.
You did?
He's 86 on Saturday, October 18th, which was yesterday, and we did the Fields of Athenry from Paddy Riley.
Lovely. Lovely. The Fields of Athenry, lovely song, and still sung in many places. That's it from us. So from all of us here, for now, goodbye and God bless.
By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl call.